First of all, your reaction to your father's arrest, did it come as a surprise to you?
I would say no, because Azerbaijan has become so dire politically in the recent months and years that no one is actually, no one is safe, and everyone could get arrested because of their political views, because of being outspoken. So we were not surprised. I would say we were more angry. We were angry, and we were having that feeling that again this this cannot be happening to us, our dad, as he was a professor at the London School of Economics. So there was no surprising. We always thought that this day could come. We always knew that Azerbaijan government at some point would try to put my dad in prison, but still the way they did it with the trumped up charges and trying to sentence him 8 to 12 years is something that was really shocking to us, and that actually make us really angry too.
Was under the threat of repression and arrest and any kind of like physical assault or psychological abuse by the government. It has been opposition in Azerbaijan, it's been critic in Azerbaijan, it's been just in a civil society in Azerbaijan. You always have the fear of arrest and you always have the fear of ill treatment and torture. So no, but it is still was hard to grasp what was happening, and still was hard to accept what was happening, even though it was something that was on our mind all the time in our life.
Professor Ibadoglu is considered to be a prisoner of conscience or political prisoner. What do you think were the real reasons for this arrest?
I believe that, and I think a lot of people also share this idea that there is like this kind of a revenge policy that Ilham Aliyev has, that he tries to take revenge on people that are criticizing him, that are questioning him, that also investigates a lot of corruption and confiscated money cases. So that is the only reason. Like, you ask anybody, international, locally, it doesn't matter, even maybe the prosecutor itself who is conducting the investigation right now, nobody really believes that these charges are real, even there's no evidence for these charges to be real either. So this is not the first incident, and this is not going to be the last incident. And there is a lot of political prisoners right now. There's like 204 political prisoners who has a lot of fabricated charges on them and who's been suffering from ill treatment. And Qubad Ibadoglu is one of them. Just like the same case with maybe more violence, in a sense that when they were detaining him, it was very violent. His health is deteriorating rapidly. But it is already always that in a dictatorship, in a authoritarian country, if you criticize the government in any way or form, this is what's going to happen to you.
I would say because he was telling the truth. He was telling the truth to the people of Azerbaijan, 10 million people of Azerbaijan, that what's actually happening behind the closed doors. How Azerbaijan government was using their money to buy properties outside Azerbaijan, how Azerbaijan government were lying about the numbers, how the government were rewarding their close friends and relatives with the money that should have been given to the people of Azerbaijan. He was also outspoken critic of the government, not only politically but also economically. He never stopped doing it, not for a single day. And he used all the social medias that he has in order to emphasize the issues within the Azerbaijan government. And in Azerbaijan, the imprisonment of my dad shows that nobody is safe, and the freedom of speech has no longer available in Azerbaijan. It's dead. There's no freedom of speech. There's no human rights, and my dad was the victim of telling what he believed in and using his voice to raise the issues that Azerbaijan government has had for the past couple of years.
Do you recall any threats that were made to your father, whether publicly or privately? Does anything come to your mind? Like, was he warned against his activities?
Well, we are not sure because he wouldn't really discuss these type of things with the family. But we could think that that happened because he was imprisoned within such a short period of time. So I'm sure he also knew that this could happen because no one, I'm sure they were following him. No one gets imprisoned within one day. It has to be planned. It has to be carefully put in place. And I'm sure he felt that he was being followed. I'm sure he had some message, but he was the type of guy who would do his fight in his own. He wouldn't involve his family to this. So that's why when my mom got involved by the police to this thing, that was actually one of the tipping points for us, because my mom has never been included in the political life of my dad, but the way they behaved with my mom was inhuman. And most certainly they will have to pay at some point for the violence that they did towards an innocent woman who had nothing to do with their businesses. But yeah, we believe there could be some sort of threats towards my dad, but again, we are not sure because his fight was always for his own, and he wouldn't include his family to this kind of stuff because he knew that Azerbaijan, the opponent, is not fighting in a clear way. The way that the tactics that they use are not clear and are not respectful. So he wouldn't actually include us, and he wouldn't involve us in this sort of stuff because he knew that these are not clean, and these are not for the normal people. The way the opponents, the way the government is trying to get to the people.
What would you tell to those people who want to help, or how can the international community help, do you think?
It is different how can international community and local community can help. For the international community, the reality is that the reason Ilham Aliyev has money is because the oil and gas market that is in EU and UK primarily. So the reason that he has all this money and the reason that he's getting much more powerful is because of oil and gas export. And like Putin, the way that he acts, Ilham Aliyev is not much different, and it's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same authoritarianism, it's exactly the same tyrant behavior. So it is important to consider that the international community also bears responsibility of what is happening in Azerbaijan in terms of human rights and civil society. International community also should raise it with their government, should raise it with their MPs, should raise it with their, I don't know, prime ministers, if they have presidents, if they have chancellors, if they have, and they need to force their government to act upon. You can't just purchase oil and gas and give all this money to Ilham Aliyev and create another Putin and then put our life at threat. And so this is basically on behalf of our lives. This is all this money is spent. So international community must respond to this, what is happening, and international community should consider that if Qubad Ibadoglu is not released, any hope that is left in Azerbaijan in terms of human rights or civil society is gonna be destroyed, because everybody believes in him and everybody supports him and everybody knows that how he's well-known and renowned person, both internationally and locally. So his release is very important.